What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another weekly update. And so far, last week was quite interesting. We opened up selling off on Monday, and then we kind of traded flat going into essentially Powell and Yellen determining what was going on with the debt ceiling. Yesterday or Thursday, I should say. I'm recording this on a Friday. The debt ceiling stuff did not go through last minute. They actually just extended the debt ceiling to December 3rd. So that's not giving essentially big money enough time to make moves. They're going to wait. So it did sell off towards the end of the day pretty heavily on Thursday. But then Friday, we had a bit of a rally. We tried to sell on Friday morning, only turned around and it got bought up rather quickly and actually had quite a bit of a rally most of the day. And then we sold just a little bit to close. So where does that lead us? Ultimately, we are still not out of the clear at all. To be honest, technical wise, I can see we are hitting this trend line on the daily. So I don't know if this trend line is going to hold us. Depends where this candle opens on Monday. We could actually start pushing down a bit more, or possible break above and retest the 44.16 is a possibility. But you also have these EMAs starting to come down and cross. When they start crossing, ultimately that means they're going to start selling even more. We do have big tech earnings towards the end of October. Recording this on October 1st, so we just got into October, but this coming week will be a full week of October. There really isn't a lot going on as far as market-wise. The biggest thing we are looking for is jobless claims is what we're looking for, because that's essentially the gauge what the Fed is using. At least they like to keep reiterating that particular piece. Yes, there's other pieces that they use, but that's ultimately kind of the cornerstone to what they're looking at. So technical wise, we're not looking very hot. Yes, we had that rally, much needed bounce. As you can see, we sold pretty heavy for about 2 days. That in-between day was kind of a hesitation day because we were waiting to see what was going on, essentially with the debt ceiling, and then we just sold off. So straight into trend line. I want to watch this, see where we open. If we open below this 433.6 mark, could look for more potential selling. Again, I think we can make a couple more legs down. Yeah, there is support. So we did bounce off of a pretty decent support. There is still even a more solid support here at the 442.40 mark, even down at the 41.70 mark on the daily. If we do make a leg down, I think we will catch here at the 42.55 mark and then start pushing up. Essentially from the start of the selling to now, or to the lowest point here, we've already made a 5.65% correction. I believe in March we had around a 7. So I think we can get, like I said, a little bit more selling, get it down to that next zone, maybe about a 6, 7, even further 8. I don't think we're going to break at all this 200 unless something really happens. It's getting pretty nasty as far as the debt ceiling stuff. So I don't know if that gets any more carried away. I think we can sell heavy, but I don't see us cratering. I just don't see that happening. I don't think the news is that bad unless we do actually default. Then yes, we would crater. The market would pretty much get leveled at that point. But being said, next week we have those jobless claims, but other than that, we don't have anything really else going on that I'm aware of. Something might come up during the week. That's why I do have the daily updates, or something might happen over the weekend. So I do have the daily updates to keep you informed what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, how I'm playing it, and go from there. So as far as a watch list, there's a couple. Ultimately, let's look at QQQ real quick. QQQ is a hot mess. It did hold though today. There were some actually FANG stocks that held pretty well on Friday, essentially the day of this recording, but we could push back up. I can see us pushing Monday into the 368 mark on the Qs, give us some headroom, and then possibly head back down a little bit lower. I do see at least one more week of selling and chop before we start really getting into I know earnings is going to be starting here. So I know we got Bed Bath & Beyond on Monday, McCormick, and a couple other ones, but and then there's more other ones that are coming out this week. But the big tech is ultimately what we're looking at. So we're going to get the banks here pretty soon as well. And then big tech is, again, end of October. So I think we're looking again closer to mid-October. So I think ultimately we're looking at mid-October for roughly this crazy selling to really calm down. That gives us a good enough spot to start rallying from there. A lot of stuff is hitting at support. So you might see some individual stuff start to run from this point, like your Amazon's. Amazon did break down past a major support today. It is holding below it even on the daily. So we want this back over the 200, and it's still under the wedge. I did short this today, capture the short. I want to see this break on Monday. I got a couple of these wedge plays that look, if it does open up over this, you're looking at a 32.90 mark on Central Monday. If this does open up above that, we could see a nice little run back up to 33.80. Very strong possibility. And then see how that one plays out. Again, there's a couple ones. Google actually broke the wedge today. I did not play this. It was very slow. I was actually playing SPX pretty much all day on Friday. I like to keep my trading really light on Friday, and I'm extremely patient on Friday because Fridays are very wishy-washy and typically like to sell on Fridays. It really just depends. Today we kind of rallied somewhat. But Google had a nice little break here. Let's see if it actually breaks up. If it does start to break this 2741, I want to see where it goes from here. Again, there's a lot of resistance since it's sold off so heavily. Again, the market looks like it's going to start turning. It's at a point so where the market starts selling. This, again, could just be a retest of the 50 here and start selling even more. So keep that in mind. Tesla's got numbers reporting coming out. This is one to really keep an eye out on. I did not swing anything. I'm cash for the weekend only because the market isn't really trustworthy right now. It's not really a risk-on kind of environment right now. So being said, nice little wedge here. They're supposed to get numbers coming out. So maybe that comes out on this weekend. Maybe it comes out on Monday. But as soon as this does break, I'm looking to get in this because I think it could run easily break that 800 from that point, especially if the market starts to turn and start ripping quite a bit going into earnings. Facebook has been an interesting one. It looks like we actually got a wedge break here as well. We had a wedge break starting today. It looks like had a couple of these small little wedge breaks. So again, something I want to see tomorrow. I did get a break, so I'm looking for a retest. If we can get a retest back in here at the 340 mark, look to get into that. Again, you're going to have some pretty heavy resistance to break through, but this 340 mark has been really solid the past couple of days, especially after some of the heavy selling. You can see some stuff has really been holding well, Facebook being one of them. So I want to watch Facebook. Apple doing really well. A lot of wedges here. We want to see the break. We start breaking. Again, there's still a lot of headroom here. That we need to, or resistance we need to watch out for. Roblox, another big one, could be another possible wedge break here. I've been playing this in and out, but it's been holding this 74 mark really well. I've been scalping a couple different scalps straight out of here because the demand is definitely there at that 74 market. The buyers are definitely there to pick it up. So Planter's another one that's had some heavy buyers here around this 23 mark. I've almost bought this a couple different times. I want to see what the market was doing first before I did that. I could see a nice little pop to 25, the 25.30 mark, but then I think we're going to play range here for a little bit. I think we might see some chop, which is good because it'll allow us to accumulate some shares. I don't think we're just going to jet straight out of here, especially with all the uncertainty with the debt ceiling and everything still looming, not that far away. And infrastructure bill and all that stuff is still being talked about. So there's still other things out there. Inflation, again, being a big concern out there that's come up a lot too. So UPST, it had its first bounce retest of the 20 on the daily, which hasn't had in a long time. I haven't actually gotten into this, but as you can see, if this does start to wedge, we are starting to get a little bit of a wedge here. If it does start to wedge and accumulate around this 20, it'd be good to get in from that point and look for the next bounce. But you definitely don't want it below this 828 mark, essentially, because then you're definitely going to head down to the 245 mark to do a retest at the 50 from that point. Amazon, I went over. Shop is really close to a good entry. I think if we get one more leg down to that 1312 mark or close to it, especially for earnings, I definitely want to grab this going into earnings. Try to get this a little bit further out. Something that will cover earnings is something I'm looking for. Trying to think what other ones are there that I haven't gone over yet. Snap. Snap actually is partnering with Hood as well to, I guess, bring some investment stuff to the Snap platform, which is quite interesting to see how that works. But that's where I got a lot of selling from. Again, it's got a great business model. It's doing very well. So it just did a retest of the 20 here on the daily. I want to see if this holds. If we accumulate here, market sells. Really, I want to see what the market does before I start really trying to take any major positions. Again, patience is definitely a virtue, and I'm trying to not just take any particular position, right? You want to wait a little bit longer on some of these. You want to be correct and not incorrect and it go against you. So Square is another one I've been really watching close. It looks like a really big bull or bear flag here on the daily, but if we can get down 231, I know it's gotten pretty close. It's got 235. That might be as low as we'll get before it really starts to churn. So that's something I want to watch. But if we start diving heavy, I definitely want to start trying to accumulate here around that 230 mark on Square. Then you have good old Microsoft. This daily setup does not look good. This daily setup on Microsoft does not look good at all. I can see Microsoft actually selling off quite a bit. There's a couple other ones I want to look at here. Airbnb is another big one. It did have a wedge break today. I want to see the vaccines and everything. That's something else I wanted to talk about too. But the vaccines got really cratered the past couple of days. But Airbnb, if the vaccines and everything, I believe they're trying to take some kind of pill form of the vaccine. Again, it's more for preventative stuff or to help you build your immune system once you actually have COVID. So being said, I want to see what happens with that. So if that does happen, that could actually bolster the travel and leisure section quite a bit. But as you can see, Moderna, it's gotten completely leveled. It looks like it found some buyers, but ultimately, I still see this coming down further. Didn't even get to that magical 300 number just yet. So it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, we're going to get some of these pickups here, but ultimately, I think a lot of this stuff is probably going to sell a little bit more. As long as the stuff that is holding remains to hold, it's definitely a plus side, because as soon as we do turn, those are the ones you're going to want to be in when we turn, because they will have some of the biggest moves. So if you have made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.